Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Check it out, right? This here is a reaction from rappers about Gucci Mane's diss track and what Gucci Mane is doing. Sit back, I'm gonna break this down. They're gonna give their opinion, I'm gonna give mine. You know, it's a little different, it's a little unique, it's a little old school. All right? Because Gucci Mane said, this is not Eazy-E and back in the day with Dre. This is 1017 and we going to the po-po today. That's where Gucci Mane is at right now. Let's start this party, man. All right. Let's go, let's go, let's go. This is about, you know, the Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane saga. We're going to play this to see how they reacted to it. Because it's like it turned into sides out there. You know, this is, you know, you already know who this is. Let's keep it moving.
Gucci cooperated. She sound like the victim. Gucci was a victim and gave his testimony.
Gucci Mane just responded to the Shiesty robbery in his new track titled Crash Dummy, responding to the snitching allegations and much more. Academic says he initially thought Gucci Mane wouldn't give a statement to the feds, but the song he dropped was a whole statement and asked Charleston White to step up his telling game.
Forget everything I said. Remember I said Gucci ain't gonna make a statement? This is a statement right here. Yo, this is a statement right here.
Who would have thought that everyone would have been Jones and Gucci Mane like this? This is Gucci Mane. Hold on, let's get back to this, man.
Yo, I should tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Yo, I'm gonna keep it a beat with you. Yo, Charleston White gotta step his snitching game. Charleston White ain't doing this over a beat with an 808 with Zaytoven. Charleston White just doing this on Instagram and his drawers.
As Gucci Mane directly called out Shiesty in 2 specific bars by rapping, "Tell the truth, you went out like a crash dummy and after all that you still signed to me. I thought it was a business meeting but it was a setup." Admitting there was a robbery and Shiesty actually tried to make Gucci sign a release contract. A viral reaction read, "Did Gucci really just drop this crash dummy track admitting to being robbed instead of handling like a real street dude? Go get your stuff back like a man." However, Gucci had to drop this track because what happened in court today. The news reads, under oath, FBI agent Hansen testified and admitted that Gucci Mane gave a statement to Dallas PD about the January 10th, 2026 robbery at the studio in North Dallas. Shiesty proceeded to rest his head against the courtroom wall as his left leg shook while attorney Bradford Cohen questioned the agent about Gucci Mane allegedly being pushed on the couch and items pointed at him. Agent Hansen said Gucci Mane told his security, who were ex-Detroit police, that they were outmanned, and Shiesty shook his head in disbelief when the agent says that Gucci Mane told his security to put their firearms down. As they revealed, Gucci did give a statement to the police, but those in the courtroom revealed Shiesty did a lot more than just shake his head. He rolled his eyes and rubbed his face after being stressed out about what Gucci told the feds, which led to Charleston White supporting Gucci snitching.
It sound like Gucci cooperated. She sound like the victim. Gucci was a victim and gave his testimony. Come on over here with me, Gucci. It's all right. It's all right to go and be civilian. Yeah, come on.
Then at the end,
Now, see, you see the way they describe Shiesty in court, you know, rubbing his face, laid back, his legs shaking, you know. It's funny because you feel all that when you're watching your comrade and listen to how your comrades done told on you. You feel all that. I mean, I'm looking at the rat on my stand and I'm like, oh, he said certain things and he was so convincing. I knew it was a lie. I knew it never happened. But he said it so convincing, I'm scratching my head like Pooh Shiesty. What the, could that have happened? You know, because he tells such a wonderful story. And that's what happened when those rat bastards get on the stand. They tell a wonderful story. But Pooh Shiesty, I know that hurt him to even hear that Gucci Mane did that, because the last thing on his mind is that Gucci Mane was going to sit there and bring it to the police. Much as him himself taking a stand. Shiesty ain't thinking that far out, because he looked at Gucci as Gucci yesterday, not Gucci as the businessman and the Gucci yesterday. Because he went to the police don't mean that he still ain't gonna clap a dude that try and run up in his house now. Just because you tell don't mean that you all of a sudden, lose your bravado. And that's what Gucci's gonna come on here and he's gonna start a podcast and he's gonna explain that. I got Gucci starting a podcast after this. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a podcast to attract everybody else that, want to cooperate.
At the end of the court hearing, Shiesty reacted again. A tweet read, "As I sat right behind Shiesty during the hearing. Minutes before the judge's ruling, Shiesty whispered, 'I'm straight,' with a head nod to his family in the back of the gallery as his attorney gave a final argument at today's hearing. However, to understand what Gucci said in his statement, it's important to know the facts. The news wrote, Shiesty and Big 30 reportedly robbed Gucci in Dallas, according to the Department of Justice. Shiesty held a firearm toward Gucci Mane and forced him to sign a contract release from his 1017 record label, while Big 30 blocked the door to prevent him from leaving. 9 people from Memphis have been charged, and the stolen jewelry appeared on social media within hours. With this going viral on the news, Woody spoke his thoughts on the situation.
Let me understand this, y'all. Please help me. I really need help. Pooh Shiesty did all that time in jail, in the feds. Pooh Shiesty came home, y'all, and made the first day out, they sent him right back to jail. Pride and ego is our main enemy.
But it would be revealed that Gucci definitely played a role in their arrests. The news wrote, anonymous source tells academics that when Gucci snitched Shiesty to the authorities, he felt sympathy for Shiesty's dad, saying he was peer pressured into the situation and didn't want him locked up, but it was already out of his control.
If anybody was peer pressured, from what I'm hearing, it was the daddy, Untitled, when the situation happened, Gucci allegedly looked up at the daddy, and the daddy was like, showed some type of sympathy and empathy for Gucci, but it was out of his control.
This got Shiesty.
Just so you understand that, Rocky, this is how it go down on a lick. Like you said, one dude really don't want to do it, don't want to be a part of it, but he's there because he's loyal. Maybe that's what Tony Yeager was saying, that you could be too loyal, But he was too loyal, and he's there. And dude look at him and say, like, Pops, I know you the voice of reason. Talk to your son. He's bugging. Gucci's looking at Pops like, yo, Pops, you bugging. You see what he doing? He's throwing his career away. You his father, speak up. And Gucci looked at him, shoulders dropped, and said, oh, man, because he seen Pops looking at Shiesty. Shiesty's like, shut up and sign it. As a matter of fact, take the ring and the watch and the jewels off, in my King Von voice. You remember that song? I was telling somebody about that song today, that King Von joint that he did where he ran up on Kyla and her man somewhere and didn't know it was Kyla at first and started robbing the dude. And when she realized that it was her brother, he said, man, he'll thank me tomorrow. He'll thank me later because I ain't going to kill his dumb ass because you don't call my name. So yeah, run that too. But that's the mentality that we dealing with Shiesty that you don't understand. He was young when he signed the contract, then he went to prison young, and he went to prison for 3 years. 3 years is nothing. I did 5 years in solitary confinement, 23 hours a day. Come out for 1 day, for 1 hour a day is when I came out the cell. That was only 5 days a week. The weekends, it was 7 days. So 3 years? It didn't do nothing for him in 3 years. It just made him more hardened. More confident, what some of y'all call more cocky. He knew he was that because he made it through that and survived, but he didn't learn too much. He definitely didn't learn enough, because if he would have learned enough, he wouldn't be where he's at right now. But he was young when he got the contract, got millions, go to jail, come home, got more millions when all you did was eat steak, like he said. He didn't say, when they asked him in his interview what he did in prison, you could tell where his mentality was at because he just spoke about how good it was in prison. You know what I mean? He didn't talk about how they degraded him every time he walked up to the visitor hall 3-4 times a week, had to get butt naked, bend over, spread his cheeks, and cough. He don't tell you that on an interview. Nobody tells you that on an interview, but that's the ugly side. And then there's a man behind you looking at you while you cough. And we got to subject to that. I subjected to that. We all subject to that. And that's why I'm telling you these things so don't go to prison. Man, tell you get butt naked, bend over and spread them. Just picture that mentality. I mean, how much more degrading can you get than that? But he tolerated that degradement in order to get out. But he laid back, and like he said, he was eating steaks from the OM. That's the officers' mess hall. Because the officers' mess hall get all the best food and meats and that we're not going to get to eat. But they order that, and, they even get shit there a lot of times. It'd be donations, from Ted Turner Steak Farm. Send them cases of steak that they supposed to give us, but they wind up, cooking it for themselves for their meals. And whoever working in the butcher shop, they got access to it. They bring it back. You know what I mean? He get him some stamps and he get what he want. Or he send him, monthly amount. Yo, I'm going to send you, $250 a month. I'm going to send you $300 a month. You just make sure I got, food to eat every day, food to cook every day. And then he pays somebody else to be the cook. So you just make sure when he bring it back, you have it cooked. So when I come back from working out 3 times a day, there's a bowl on my desk as soon as I walk in, and the steam is coming from the bowl. And I'm going to give you $250 a month just to make sure my bowl is served, and he going to get $250 for cooking it. That's how prison run. And how else is he going to spend all that money? If he don't do it, somebody else going to do it. He can never spend all that money in there if they give him the time they trying to give him. He can never spend all that money in it. Let's get back to this, man. Hold up.
Shiesty's mother's attention, and she spoke about her ex-husband being arrested with her son.
He protected him. He kept him humble. He kept him 100 and kept away from around some suckers and pluckers. I prayed for them. My was so good.
But this is where everything would change for the worse for Gucci. The public is heavily on Shiesty's side because Gucci basically ratted his own artist out. DJ Academic shared that Gucci has had hired off-duty cops to serve as his security for the last few years that no one knew about, which raised the question on why Gucci would sign street artists while having off-duty cops around.
But the idea that some of y'all trying to give Gucci an out, like, nah, is because...
Hold up, did y'all just hear that? You hear how dangerous that is? First, I thought they were saying it was retired police officers. Now they say off duty. So imagine off duty. Imagine how much evidence they may have on them. From when Pooh Shiesty was coming around, I'm sure he had his Draco on him then, and so did his, his other cohorts. And you got a off-duty cop that's still active, watching. And the cop is loyal to the bag, so he don't say nothing. But he might write it down. And they may be able to go back and use it now to make it look like they was doing an undercover sting operation on him. But you got a off-duty active cop? And you're the CEO signing gangsters like Pooh Shiesty, Honeycomb Brazy. Big shout out to Honeycomb Brazy. I like that cat too, man. Official. You know what I mean? Official. But anyway, that's where, let me get back to this, man. But yeah, that's crazy.
It's not like they fooled him and it was an undercover cop. That's what people keep saying.
What?
Undercover. No, he hired a policeman. Wasn't undercover. Wasn't a guy acting like he was security. No, he hired the cops. And a crime happened in the presence of the cops.
This went viral online. DJ Vlad wrote, I've spoken to a few people close to the Shiesty and Gucci robbery case, and this is what I keep hearing. There is no actual evidence of Gucci getting robbed, so the case will hinge on one thing: Gucci taking the stand and saying that they robbed him. Now here's the interesting part. If Gucci says that nothing happened, then he can't claim that he signed Shiesty's release under duress, and he will never make any more money off Shiesty. If Gucci does take the stand against Shiesty, then the contract release gets thrown out and Gucci continues to make money off him. But then everyone will call Gucci Mane a snitch like they're doing now. So it will come down to Gucci choosing money over his reputation, as this would be explained into further detail by lawyer Mo.
If Gucci does not testify, the question of is Pooh cooked comes down to 2 paragraphs in the complaint plus 1 picture. They say Big 30 barricades the door to the studio. They say that the security guards try to barge in, and when the security guards barge in, they get a peek and they see that they're outnumbered by the armed target suspects, it does not say that they are outnumbered by an armed Pooh Shiesty. Instead, they lump Pooh Shiesty in with the whole group of target suspects, suggesting that the security guards only saw other people, not Pooh with the gun. Later, where it's alleged that he's allegedly holding it to the back of the head of one of the business people. And so, if there's anybody here other than Gucci who seems like they could put Pooh away, it's going to be one of the business guys.
One popular reply wrote, "They don't need Gucci to get this man. It was an off-duty cop involved." To which the famous rap lawyer wrote, "You could make a fair argument from what we've heard so far. It may be that the two security guards accompanying Gucci never saw Shiesty with a firearm or saw anything about what was going on in the studio other than that there were 3 people with items. The complaint says the 2 security were outside the studio, and when they tried to pry the door open, they saw they were outnumbered by people with items." But this even got fans to write, "Anyone else find it odd that Gucci went to the studio with several off-duty cops when it was supposed to be a meeting with his biggest artist who's fresh out of prison? To me, it feels like Gucci knew something was going to happen," which ended up being correct. But one of the main motives for Shiesty to do this was reported. Academic says that the word was that Shiesty started to have issues with Gucci Mane because of how Gucci handled things after his cousin Big Scar passed away.
This drops, it looks like he's not, he's never really publicly fell out with Gucci, but the word has been this. He's unhappy about how Gucci discarded or seemed unemotional to, or pretty much not caring, right? Lack of he gave when Big Scar, who is Pooh Shiesty's cousin, passed away.
Because when Big Scar passed, Gucci didn't want to put money up for Scar's funeral. Shiesty didn't have much influence at the time due to him being in jail, but after spreading the word through the jail phone, Gucci coughed the money up for the funeral, as Scar's father confirmed.
"I don't know how this got out of control like this, y'all. It's ugly. Gucci did what he did. 100 is 100. I'm the one ain't looking for nothing. I just want what rightfully belong to my son. I ain't asking for nothing else."
But to Shiesty, this...
You heard it right there. He said Gucci did do the right thing by the funeral because there was a lot of, rumors going around that he didn't do anything. So I just heard it from the boy Daddy. Y'all heard it here first. Got to give it props where the props is due. Nobody's here to bash anyone. Let's get back.
was still disrespectful. Not sending the $10,000 immediately when Scar's family asked was...
Oh, now you can't go saying he didn't do it immediately. You don't know what was going on in his life. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that.
A problem. With Shiesty not cool with Gucci anymore, he wanted out of his deal immediately so Gucci wouldn't make any more money off him. Shiesty couldn't have done this at a worse time as he was already being investigated for violating his probation. Shiesty is being investigated by police after his new song FDO. Self-snitching in lyrics and dissing federal prosecutors from his court case won't end well. Shiesty dissed Youngboy in the FDO song and the prosecutors involved in his court case, which got Youngboy and Shiesty to yell at each other on Instagram.
I'm on this type shit like, who gives a... That's what you do right now. Well, all this, what you like that. We really live it. We talk about, you hear me?
With this going viral online, Shiesty would then be exposed by an inmate in his cell block. It reads, Memphis man claims Shiesty wasn't standing on business in prison, alleging that inmates made him stand up to eat.
Stand up while they eating. Hey man, you was in that mall standing up while you were eating. When they bump down on you, they ask you, is you one of these 5 or is you a rapper? You said a rapper. I got facts about these, man. Hey man, I'm on this, man. You know what I'm talking about, man?
With Shiesty being exposed on how his jail life was, the same Memphis OG just days later took back his words about Shiesty.
Man, I just found out, man, you know, hey man, I was off the medication, man. I'm so up, bro. I'm just institutionalized. I'm a convict. I didn't even know this little cousin the whole time. Los. Damn, Lo, why you ain't tell me Pooh Shiesty was our little cousin, bro?
But this led into another situation when Shiesty was on live stream and they called another streamer who said he was Team Youngboy, which made Shiesty angry.
Don't apologize to me.
Man, Ricardo, hey,
look, man, you gotta, man, just rep anything, man. Just say you something, and then you good.
I'm 4K Dre.
Who? Ricardo, what the man?
You said what?
You could hang up on him, cuz ain't no.
Shiesty wanted to make it clear he's still backing Lil Durk despite people flipping sides to Youngboy. As it was reported, Lil Zay Osama speaks on why it's no surprise the industry is switching up on Lil Durk for Youngboy.
Nah, for real though, I don't see why this was surprising or new to y'all. Everybody jumping ship because that's how the industry is. Nobody in the industry is gonna stick around you when you at your lowest. If they can't get clout, notoriety, money, fame, features, videos, something that they could benefit from off you, they're gonna jump ship. I don't see why it's surprising that everybody is on YB in the industry. That's how.
So what is he saying? They like ticks? They like bloodsuckers? Put in the comment if you think they ticks or bloodsuckers. You know?
How it go. They only gonna f you when it's beneficial to them. None of these ain't grow up with dirt. None of these ain't friends or real homies with dirt for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Or they would never change, or they would never jump ship. Cause where we from, if you with me, my ops is your ops is mine. Some people don't look at it like that. Some people look at it like I f with both parties, I ain't got nothing to do with it. And look, you not wrong for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, shout out to the that still there, stayed down for Dirk, his real family and friends, you feel?
Hundreds of OTF mutuals would tweet out saying, if you're rocking with what Youngboy did, then stay on that side when Lil Durk gets out of jail. During the same live stream, Shiesty was not having it with a girl that didn't know who Durk or OTF was.
Was that my jerk? Oh.
Lil Durk.
JCV Films with that fire gift, bro. I appreciate you.
OTF. What's that, man? Why you say it like that for? Come on, get your picture, man, before you get up.
But it's true that Lil Durk is pretty much all alone in jail. No one is speaking up for him, and academics spoke about how people are getting much closer with Youngboy instead.
So I'm in the dressing room, and we just talking about a bunch of. He's also telling me, and I will never say who. He's telling me all the rappers who was now hitting him up, and he kind of asked me, he's like, Act. So what you think, man? Cause I think he's thinking like, yo, should he forgive some of these? Like, but all these rappers on it. You know what I mean? Like they're all like, yo, young boy, we love you, right? And I gave him the best advice, I think. I said, you know, I didn't want to impart my thoughts on it because I don't know fully what he's been through and what he's thought. Because, you know, he was down where nobody would upon him. So I said, whatever your heart feels about any of these or kind of doubling back or not, I want to do whatever, go with that.
Chopper tried going at Youngboy for Durk, however, it resulted in nothing. Academics said, if Chopper wants to be taken serious by dissing Youngboy, he needs to make an anthem.
Yo, NLE Chopper, bro. No more break dancing, no more belly rolling and like that, gyrating. If you making a diss song at Kentrell Deshaun Golden, you gotta make some anthem with like some military tanks. That's how he's coming. Tell you.
Which left rappers saying Chopper needs to stop trying.
Everybody see Youngboy ain't mess with nobody. The boy doing his thing, standing his own lane. And it, yeah, I love it. I love it. I can feel him every time he drop a song. But NLE Chopper, instead of him doing his own thing, he said, you know what, I'm gonna attack this man, I'm gonna mess with him. That's how poor in the street think. Instead of just letting me continue to move my life, cause I ain't mess with nobody. I ain't out here trying to portray a street image or nothing like that. I'm just.
However, beefing with Youngboy, rapping about his case, and dissing the feds resulted in Shiesty being investigated. But he's now being exposed by Wack 100 for snitching to be out early. Wack 100 would expose Shiesty for his new song, FDO being all cap. It was announced Wack 100 claims Shiesty is not solid and told to get out early.
Pooh Shiesty what?
So Pooh Shiesty has shown his paperwork on his story.
I don't give a f about. I got his proper that you're scared to post. You gotta stop doing bust, because I'm gonna tell you, if I send you some paperwork on me,
I'm gonna read it 20 times.
When that was first announced, several rappers in the industry were calling out Shiesty for snitching in his case. Even Big 30 reacted, defending his best friend.
My mama, if you see some paperwork, my mama, I do whatever y'all tell me to do. Cause my eyebrows, mustache, hair, I throw my chains in the river and jump in and if Shiesty snitch. Go on, take one to the. I ain't got no red.
With Big 30.
Here's the truth on the passing of XXXTentacion. Everybody should know.
I had to pause that. My bag. I done flipped it in. Don't even worry about it. We just gonna leave that in. But we gonna end that and go back that.
It sound like Gucci cooperate. It sound like the victim. Gucci was a victim.
Hold up. There it is. This way we try and just get it right to let the youth know, man, it ain't worth it. Gucci, man, picking a side. You know what I mean? If y'all on that side, stay on that side. Please, it ain't worth it. If you're on the other side, get off of that side. It ain't worth it because like Lil Woody said, they got a jail cell for you, ain't nothing nice. And you're what Charleston White saying right there, you know what I mean?
And gave his testimony.
Gucci Mane just responded to the Shiesty robbery in his...
It sounded like Gucci cooperated. It sounded like the victim. Gucci was a victim and gave his testimony.
Gucci Mane...
Now he rallying for, you know, the right side. Y'all stay on the right side, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's tap out. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio.
Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio. And we gon' do it like we gon' do it like we keep it moving like we gotta do it like
Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So